Welcome, it's Street Talk with Loretta Rose, and on today's show, we have a gentleman that is a realtor, and we like to call him Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. If you're interested in buying a home, selling a home, well, on today's show, he's going to give you all the tips and all the things you need to know about what's happening in the real estate industry. On today's show, we have Ron Jones. Stick around, we'll be back. It's Street Talk with Loretta Rose, and you're watching here on Beam TV. Welcome back. It's Straight Talk with Loretta Rose. And on today's show, we are talking about buying a home and all the knowledge you need to know with investing and finding that perfect home. Well, we have a real estate coach. He is a realtor right here in our Tri-City area, and he is amazing. And when I tell you, he is a coach when it comes to real estate. I am so excited to have on the show Ron Jones. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Look, they think we planned this.
I know, right?
Great minds think
Great
alike.
minds, I'm telling you, great minds.
Coach Jones, I'm just going to call you Coach because I met you in the community, and we were at one of the Chambers events, and you just so affectionate with your communication, your passion for what you do. And I was just in awe with your knowledge and your passion for the real estate industry.
Thank you.
And so I wanted to have you on to talk about how to educate the people, let everyone know about the market, how things are going, those that are interested in buying a home, because the streets talk, right?
Sure.
And you are the man to answer the questions. And so you said that it would be great to come on and talk about it. And because this is something that you've been doing for some time. Tell us, first of all, how it all started with you and a little bit more about Ron Jones.
Sure. The way it all got started, I was actually the post commander at the time of the American Legion Post 135 here in Phenix City, Alabama. And I saw a need for the veteran. And on top of that, there was some coupling decision-making criteria, such as my current job status. I was in corporate America. Anybody that knows anything about veterans in corporate America, we don't last long. That's kind of a little play of humor there. We don't like being told how to do things. Go figure, we were with the government for as long as we've been. But
and thank you for your service.
Thank you so much for your support. And so I took a friend of mine who's been in real estate for a very long time, who ultimately became my mentor. I took him to lunch and I said, "Hey, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to talk me out of real estate." So he gave me the good, bad, and the ugly. An hour later, I looked at him. I said, "You're the worst talker out of guy that I've ever met in my life. I'm going to take my test soon." So I got in real estate initially to help the veteran and the families. I started coining myself as the realtor for the military families. I've been in real estate now for almost 5 years.
Wow.
And still to this day do not feel like I wake up having to go to work.
Oh, wow.
Love what I do.
It shows. It shows. It shows. And you're with Platinum Properties,
Correct.
right? Which is located in Phenix City?
Right here in Phenix City on Lakewood Drive, excuse me.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about the services you all provide through the real estate industry.
Sure, we're a full service brokerage. Roddy Niles is the qualifying broker at Platinum Properties. He's been in business now, I believe, for about 17 years, if not longer. That's just the brokerage itself, that's not Rodney. We are a full spectrum brokerage, meaning that we have a property management side where there are over 300 properties that are managed by Platinum Properties. And then you've got the sales side. There are about 16 full-time agents that work at Platinum Properties. So we're smaller, but I can tell you that there's not an agent at Platinum Properties who isn't a powerhouse.
Wow.
there's a lot of weight that is brought to the table as far as volume sold. And with that, there's a lot of wisdom and experience as well, which I've been extremely blessed with as that being the only brokerage I've been with my entire career so far.
Wow. You have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and I think a lot of it is the passion and that drives you to do so much more for those that you serve. Now, we're going to educate the listeners, the viewers as well. I want to ask, what's the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor?
It's real simple. It's affiliation with the National Association of Realtors, otherwise known as NAR. Realtors are paying members of both state and National Association of Realtors, and that gives us the authorization to use that logo that has become synonymous with the industry. And the reason why it's become synonymous with the industry is because the National Association of Realtors, as well as the state level, like the Alabama or the Georgia Association of Realtors, there are a ton of resources that come with those associations and with those memberships, to include accreditation, certification classes, continuing education, as well as marketing materials that is instrumental in selling a home.
Okay. Well, we're a military town.
We are.
And you're a veteran, and we have so many here. To those that are watching, and also I might add, we are a college town as well.
We are.
We have Chattahoochee Valley College, Columbus State University, Southern Union, right up the road, Troy University, and as college students are graduating, whether they're young adults, or adults and parents going back to further their education, well, as they pursue their careers, they're wanting to buy a home. So what is the first step to a first-time buyer? Because you specialize in first-time buying.
The very first thing is call a realtor. This is not a pitch. Call a realtor. We're the bridge to many resources, to many services. And we'll coach you through. One thing that I tell my first-time home buyers, let's get with a lender. Let's get pre-qualified. What that pre-qualification letter is going to do is that's going to tell you how much home you can actually afford. And then what I suggest that you do is you back that up by 80%. So you're at the 80% of what your limit is. And there's more strategies on why that number is effective. But the biggest one is we don't want to cause house drought. I wouldn't want you 6 months down the road eating top ramen for a month so that you can make your mortgage payment. We want you to live comfortably, but in a disciplined manner. After you get that pre-qualification letter, now it's time to build those reserves. What I mean by reserves is what you're putting into savings towards your home buying experience. That gives you buying power. That allows your realtor to write stronger offers. But on top of that, what that does is that is actually showing financial responsibility towards your lender as well. So the more that you have in reserves, the more likely you are to get a higher level or a lower interest. The next thing that you want to do is make sure you're analyzing your credit. What I suggest to people, Credit Karma is great as a free resource to monitor your credit. Let your lender tell you what your credit score is, or you can go on the 3 credit bureaus and pull that free annually. The way your credit score for mortgage purposes is analyzed is they will take all 3 of your FICO scores and they will take the average score between the 3. Make sure you have no debt in collections. Medical debt's not exactly anything that an eye's batted over. But if there's a balance tied to it and you haven't paid on it in a couple of months, you might want to bring that to current status. Anything that is in collection status, that will get you denied a home loan.
Wow.
You have to understand this is in most cases the largest investment of anybody's life. It's a very, very large sum of money you're asking the bank to give you. They want to make sure that you are responsible enough to pay that money back.
I want you to add something, because
Sure.
one question from the community is, if you have something in collection, and have paid it off, how long does it take for it to go off?
That depends on the collections agency, actually, or the debtee. The financial institution that has that debt, they may be quick on reporting it. So you might look at a reporting cycle, which is 45 days. They may be kind of slow on the draw, especially if they're primarily a debt collector or a debt collection agency. It might take 3 months. What I would recommend that you do is, if you do pay that negative debt off and it's in collection status and you settle that negative debt, ask for a expedited report. That kind of puts them on the burner, if you will, to get that thing reported to all 3 credit reporting bureaus, so that you can reflect. The other thing you can do too is request a letter of good standing. You can provide that letter of good standing to your lender to show that you have paid that debt off.
Wow, that's good. That's good. And also, another question I want to add is that how is the market?
I'm glad you asked.
We're in the month of June in 2024.
Sure.
How is the market? Because what the people want to know, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell?
So
how are we looking?
We're back into a traditional market, and if I may, Loretta, I want to take this opportunity to kind of mitigate some fears.
Okay.
A lot of your first-time home buyers have come into the market, whether of age or financial ability, during an unprecedented time in human history, and that was during the pandemic. Most of our economy shut down for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And what happened was the real estate industry was the main economic engine of this country for that 3-year period, almost 3 years. So what happened was, not only was minimum credit score to be qualified for a mortgage lowered, but the overall lender rate bottomed out to historic lows. To give you kind of a snapshot, here's kind of a real quick bi-decade, 50-year history of our lender rates throughout this country. In 1974 wrapped up between an 8 and a 9% average mortgage rate. In 1984, 10 years later, we had hyperinflation, 13.23 to 14.67. Let me say that again, 13.23 to 14.67% for a home loan. In 1994, we entered the mid-90s and trickled back down to more chewable rates, 8.02 to 8.93%. In 2004, it started trickling down to 5.88%. Something happened in the early 2000s called the real estate market crash. I believe it was October 10th, 2008. It's exactly what happened. It was a complete crash. I call it the great domestic violence on Capitol Hill. Aunt Fanny and Uncle Freddie, otherwise known as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they got to a huge tussle, administratively speaking, and there was a lot going on that caused the real estate industry to kind of turn over. Mm-hmm. But the great thing is, there was a lot of resolutions that came out of that that are in effect even to this day, such as there are no early payoff penalties on a mortgage anymore. Okay. So you're not going to get penalized if you want to move from your starter home and into a new home that has better furnishings or more square footage. Mm-hmm. There's not a penalty to pay that old mortgage off anymore, which is a great thing. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, 2014, we saw interest rates go down to 4.17%. And then we had the pandemic. And between 2020 and 2022, we saw mortgage rates fall between 2.65 and 2.96. Now keep in mind, these are averages. Some of you at home are probably sitting there going, well, I just refied for 1.8%. You probably had a 700 or better credit score as well. Plus you had a lot of equity built in your home. Plus you had a good standing and long payment history with your lender, and you probably also refied in-house, which means you stayed with the lender you originally bought the home with. Last year, it hit the news that the volatility of the interest rates was wider and crazier than the stock market. I can tell you, to my knowledge and my research, I've never seen that before. Last year was unprecedented on how wide the interest rates were swinging. But I say all that to say this. So far in 2024, we're halfway through. We've settled down to right around the 7% range. So far for the month of June, we are somewhere between 6.75 and 7.1, and we're pretty much staying in that little window.
Do you think it's going to change? I mean,
that's
what the people want to know.
It may slide a little bit, but I don't think you're ever going to see 3% interest rates again.
Why?
I think that was a once in a lifetime deal. Again, it goes back to what the real estate industry became during the pandemic. We kept the economy alive. We were considered, here in the state of Alabama, we were actually listed as essential employees. So while you had stores closing, restaurants closing, and people saying to stay home, we're essentially on a lockdown, real estate was still alive. Realtors were still out doing our job. We were still showing houses. We were still making transactions and listing homes and selling homes. If anything, it was happening faster and more frequently than ever. So they had to lower the interest rates in order to entice people to continue to buy homes.
Wow.
That's why you're never going to see that again.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully we never see another pandemic again.
I know. You have some great tips. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back with the Realtor for the military family. And we want you to share how you can help our military families as well and the local Tri-City area. It's Street Talk with Loretta Rose. We're on with Ron Jones, our local real estate agent, and he's also a coach in the industry. We'll be back after this.
Hi, I'm Ron Jones. I'm a realtor with Platinum Properties, LLC. If you're looking to sell your home or commercial property, or if you're looking to buy a new home, feel free to contact me today to schedule a consult. My goal is to help you achieve your goal. Feel free to contact me today.
While our roots remain firmly planted in the heart of East Alabama, we're taking a bold step forward to expand our reach. You've always known us as East Alabama Advertising. Now let us reintroduce ourselves as AMP. As we embrace this exciting transformation, we're not leaving behind our core principles. In fact, we are clearly defining them and carrying them forward with a renewed spirit. Our commitment to excellence, creativity, and a deep understanding of our clients' unique needs remains unwavering. At AMP, our mission is clear: to harness innovative strategies and technology, to amplify your message, expand your reach, and drive results. By leveraging our expertise in digital marketing, creative storytelling, and data-driven insights, we amplify your brand's voice to captivate your target audience and make a lasting impact. We believe in the power of reach. We focus on tapping into our partners' ideal customers to reach them right where they are. We are community-minded and relationship-driven. We combine strategic thinking, creative flair, and technical expertise to create compelling advertising campaigns across all channels, whether it's through engaging social media campaigns, captivating video content that tells your story, or highly targeted digital advertising. We are easy to work with because we care about the success of each of our partners. Your success is our success. AMP, Advertising, Marketing, Production.
Welcome back. We are with Ron Jones with Platinum Properties. He's a realtor and also a coach in the industry. I want to thank you so much for coming on and answering the community's question, sharing tips about buying a home, giving us the 101 to buying a home, first steps and things like that, letting us know how the market is going, praying that the interest rate do come back down even some more, even though I know you said we may not ever see the threes again, but I'm believing God for a miraculous change for the people and for me too. So, Ron, we're in a military town.
Sure.
My parents are retired military. We have a lot of veterans here. A lot of them don't know the resources available for them.
Sure.
Let's talk about the different loans, because I didn't know until my parents, they built a new home that they went through the VA, which was truly a blessing for them as well. But let's talk a little bit about that, because I didn't realize there was so many different types of loans. But again, I'm not in that industry.
Sure. Well, there's four main types of mortgage products. Your first-time home buyer is going to be more likely to go under what's called an FHA home loan, or Federal Housing Authority home loan. What that is, that's a government-backed and originated loan. Because it's originated through the United States government, it's also insured by the United States government. So even if we went into another market crash, you're not gonna lose your house. It is government backed and insured. The con is I don't know why this happens. I can't. I'm not in this industry as far as the lenders go, so I can't really talk to why this happens. But what does happen with FHA loans specifically, they get traded like trading cards among the lenders. I don't know what the intention is, but you may start off with lender XYZ, and 45 days after you close on your new home, you might get a letter saying, hey, congratulations, I need you to go to this website because your loan is now serviced with lender 123. Does that have anything to affect the buyer? No, it's just a minor inconvenience. You may or may not have to go to a different website 1 or 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
Don't know. What I recommend on that one is finding what they call a servicing lender. A servicing lender will not sell your loan off. They service your loan, they keep your loan, they're selfish in that regard, but that also offers continuity, because 9 times out of 10, the loan officer that you started with is also going to be the person that's going to service your loan and will stay your point of contact. And I'm all about the relationships, so that's what matters to me on that. The good thing about an FHA loan, your credit score has to be somewhere in the 610s or better. Now keep in mind, we talked about the negatives, the items that are in collection status. That still applies to any home loan. You can't have those. But your down payment is going to typically be somewhere in the 3.5% range. So if you're going to sit there and shop in the $200,000 price range, you might have to pay $7,000 down on the loan itself, so you're only going to finance $193,000. The next one on the slate, the biggest one we talked about, the VA home loan. The VA does not originate this loan. The VA is not a bank. But what they did was they wrote a product, a guideline for the banks to follow, specifically for the veteran. It is also a government-backed and originated loan. The great thing is, to qualify for a VA loan, if we're in a time of peace, as we technically are now, you must serve 181 days consecutive in uniform service. During a time of war, such as during the time of Operation Enduring Freedom or Operation Iraqi Freedom, 90 days of continuous service during that time period as well. So real quick, if you served in the military, you qualify for the Montgomery GI Bill, you qualify for a veteran home loan. Still go through an average lender. They will go ahead and set you in. However, it does take a slightly less credit score. If you have a 590 or above, as long as you have clean credit, 590 will get you. Keep in mind, the lower your credit, the higher your interest rate. So the better your credit, the more buying power you have.
That's a good tip right there.
There used to be limits. There used to be a limit, an actual dollar amount fixed that you could actually borrow against a VA home loan. In 2021, they repealed that. You can go up into the 400s, and you can still climb higher than that. You would then apply for what's called a VA jumbo loan, and what that is there's no financial limit, but you may have to pay a down payment on those larger dollars amounts. Speaking of down payments, anything below that $400,000 price point or around that bubble, you're not going to have to pay a down payment at all, especially if you have a letter of disability of 30% or higher. Banks may also waive their funding fees for disabled veterans as well. That saves you even more money. You don't have to pay origination fees with the exception of the VA funding fee. But again, like I just said, some lenders do waive that, especially if you're active duty or if you're 50% or better disabled. Mobile homes, backing up to FHA. FHA will finance anything over $50,000 as long as it is inhabitable, meaning it has to be move-in ready. The federal government does not like investment property, so you can't sit there and buy this ramshackle flip of a house that only has good bones but needs new floors, new counters, new walls, new electricity. It has to be move-in ready. VA home loans, they're a little bit more stringent, has to be even more move-in ready, can only have some minor cosmetic blemishes, no structural or mechanical blemishes whatsoever. Mobile homes, VA will not fund a mobile home older than 20 years old. I don't care what kind of condition it's in. If it's a mobile home, they're not going to fund it. USDA loans. Let me back up to VA loans. There's a common misconception that you can only use a VA home loan once or twice. That's absolutely not true. You can renew your benefit. If you've borrowed a certain amount, you may have to go through your lender. They can coach you how to actually sign or file a renewal benefit letter through the VA, and that basically just hits the reset button for you.
Awesome.
The USDA home loan. USDA home loan is great for rural areas. I'm going to go ahead and kind of go down and hit this swath of the Chattahoochee Valley real quick for you because there are some max benefits. The USDA home loan is income based. Within that income bubble tells you if you have a minor down payment or a no down payment. The great thing is with USDA is usually there's very little if nothing out of pocket. However, the USDA home loan is the only regulatory home loan, meaning the home or the property has to actually be approved by the USDA. What that means, Chattahoochee Valley and Harris County over in Georgia, along with Talbot County and Troup County, $398,600 is the most expensive house you can buy in a USDA home loan. Stewart County also follows that $398,600. Meriwether County, you got some big money over there for USDA home loans at $519,800. However, Muskogee County, you cannot buy a house in Muskogee County and fund it through USDA because that is considered a metropolitan. You cannot use it inside of a city. Over here in the state of Alabama, the entire state of Alabama is $398,600 limits. No mobile homes, cannot buy inside of Phenix City, but you can buy in Smith Station, believe it or not. Conventional is the last one. Conventional is an in-house. For example, I'm going to kind of name drop for a second just to use an example. Let's say you go through Synovus, you go through a conventional loan. Well, that is a loan that is originated and funded by that bank specifically. Those typically carry a slightly higher down payment and a average interest rate, if you will.
Wow. Whoa. You have taken us to school. Wow. That's why they call him Coach Realtor Ron Jones. This is amazing. Now, we have people watching and they may want to know how can they contact you because they may have other questions that we didn't share. You covered a lot. You definitely got to come back.
Sure.
To share updated tips on what is happening, how the market is going. But for those that are watching, how can we follow you or contact you?
There's a lot of ways, actually. The most preferred is obviously the old-fashioned way. I like to talk, so give me a call at 706-594-4167. You can reach me sometimes at the office. I actually spend more time in the field than I do the office, but you can always leave a message at 334-291-1234. You can also follow me on social media. Just simply go on Facebook and run a search for Ron Jones Realtor. Same thing on Instagram, what used to be called Twitter, now X, and also on, believe it or not, Snapchat and LinkedIn.
Wow, you are amazing. At Platinum Properties, we're so blessed to have you, and I'm just so thankful for you coming on to share all of the resources that you shared today with the community, with the viewers, with everyone online or in locally. We appreciate you so much. Before we get ready to close out, for someone that looking for a realtor, what are the things that they really need to be looking for? Although I know, we would like for them to contact you, but someone may not be living here in the state of Alabama or Georgia, maybe
Sure.
watching. What are things that they need to be looking for when they're looking to hire a realtor?
First and foremost, I am gonna throw a pitch and a stick on if you don't mind. No matter what your real estate transaction is, I highly recommend using a realtor. We go to school for this. This is our livelihood. We are the industry experts. This is actually, believe it or not, a true statistic. For those that think they are saving money by selling their house themselves, otherwise known as for sale by owners. Statistically, a for sale by owner home is sold for 20% or more less than that of a home sold identically by a realtor. So
That's true.
the money you think you're saving by not paying a commission, you're losing 3 times that, if not more, by selling it yourself. Some of the traits: find a realtor that is approachable, that is engageable, that is trustworthy, that is transparent. I can't stress that enough.
That's good.
The realtor should always be very, very transparent with you. We have a goal of achieving your goal. We're here to coach you through a real estate experience, through a process. At the end of the day, it's your decision. Whatever, if you want to sell your home for $400,000 and your realtor says, "Hey, according to my comparative market analysis, your house is only going to sell for $175,000," at the end of the day, it's still your decision. I suggest you listen to your realtor, though. We kind of know what we're talking about.
Wow. This is why the community loves Ron Jones, and that is why he's on today. I want to thank you so much. You are amazing, and I love that when you talked about being transparent. That's how you are. And also, as we get ready to close out, I'm going to say this because I've seen this with you in the community. Even when you came on today's show, there was someone in the community in search of looking for a home. You stopped immediately what you were doing to assist that person.
Yes, ma'am.
With resources. That means a lot. That means a lot. So that's what type of guy this is. I'm not just saying this for, to put a plug in on him, but this is a reality. He's not only sharing it, but he's living it, and this is what he's doing for the lives of others and families. So we want to thank you so much for being on today's show, and we look forward to having you come back, and I'm looking forward to that interest rate going down.
Thank you so much.
I'm claiming it for the people. I am claiming it. We are claiming it. Now, Ron, when it does, I need you to come back on and talk about it.
Absolutely.
All right, tell us your contact number again.
Absolutely. Again, Ron Jones. I am licensed in both Alabama and Georgia. That is kind of important.
Yes.
You can reach me at 706-594-4167, text or phone.
And let us know where Platinum Properties is located.
Platinum Properties is located at 3800 Lakewood Drive here in Phenix City, Alabama. The easiest way I can tell you to get there is if you know where Lakewood Golf Course is, we're on the same road. We're right behind Vector Ply, which is located on the corner of South Railroad Street and Lakewood Drive.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on. It's Straight Talk with Loretta Rose, and you've been watching here on Beam TV. Thanks for watching.